Hello again, everyone. Right, okay, so for today, these are the bits of equipment that I am going to use, okay? I'm going to use a Sharpie just because I'm going to actually show you something in a moment, okay? And I want it to stand out. But mainly, I'm going to use an HB pencil, okay? Any pencil that you have, whether it is patterned or whether it is, something that you've just got out of a set, it will be HB. That is the standard, okay, of the leads. So I'm just going to use an HB one today. That is going to be for my shading. Now, you probably don't have one of these. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to use a mechanical pencil, okay, for just while I'm doing my basic shapes, just so I can't see them too much, okay? I actually like working with a mechanical pencil because I don't know where my camera is, I've lost it. I love how thin the leads are, okay? So I'm going to use that one. If you've got one, fab, please use it. If you don't, do not panic, okay? I'm going to use a normal rubber. I've got my trusty Staedtler, that way, rubber. I've got also my sharpener. Woohoo! Okay, found it, need to empty that. And I also have these things. Now, if you don't know what these are, they're not drumsticks, okay? They are what's called a blending tool or a smudging tool, okay? Now, I love these. And I love them particularly for shading. I'm going to show you a little bit more about why I love them in the next video. If you don't have these, do not panic, okay? Because you can actually just use like a little scrap of paper and smudge with that. This is all this is. It's paper that has been compressed, okay, into a pencil. And I've got two different widths here. Now, if you're doing GCSE art next year, these are things that I would highly recommend you get a hold of because they are brilliant for when you're doing your pencil work. Now, I got these, I believe, in the range, and I get... How many did I get in a pack? I think I get 3 in a pack. I don't know where my thinnest one's gone, but I believe I only paid about $150 for them, so well worth getting a hold of. Now, I also have this amazing gizmo, okay? I'm going to use this today just because I'm doing pencil work and I love being able to use it. This is my electric rubber, okay? It's awesome. Basically, this is fantastic for doing very fine details of highlights in your pencil drawing. Now, I think I paid about £5 for this, and I want to say I got it at the range as well, okay? Now, you get rubbers that come with it, and you can buy replacement rubbers, and basically you just take them out, okay? Slot them back in, put them in, hey presto, okay? So I'm going to use that as well if you want to get a hold of one of them. But let's go back to the beginning. So in the last video, I showed you how to break down the human eye, the nose, and I asked you to try and work out the mouth, okay? Now, I'm not going to use any sort of things to draw around, except I'm going to do this just by hand, okay? And I'm going to do it in a Sharpie just so you can see it. So first things first, for the eye, we had the oval. Now you can make it thin, you can make it wide, entirely up to you. We had a larger circle for the iris, and we had a smaller circle for the pupil, and we also had that triangle for the cornea. Now for a nose, it is more shapes and slightly more tricky, okay? Because what you actually have is you've got a rectangle down the centre of your nose, and that's the bridge of your nose, okay? Now at the top of that, going through it, you can actually break it down into an upside down triangle. And this will become a little bit more clear as to why. If you can work it out, fabulous, but I will show you in a moment. At the bottom of the nose, we've got a circle, and that's for that lovely big lumpy bit, okay? Mine is particularly nasty. I don't like my nose. Some of you know I don't like my nose. I've mentioned that before. And at either side of that, you've actually got 2 smaller circles. Now, when I'm drawing those smaller circles, if you can see it, I tend to go in quite far, okay? You don't want them sticking out too much, or you're going to have a really wide nose. Now, if anybody managed to work this one out, the mouth is actually another oval shape. But what I do is I break it into two. So I end up with two sort of semi-oval parts. Okay, so I count those as two shapes. Now at the top of that, you actually have two small triangles, and they will make your Cupid's bow. I'm going to explain that in a moment. So first things first, we're going to start with the eye. Okay, so we've got this rather lovely oval shape. Can we see that? Is it dark enough? Yeah, just about. So we've got this oval shape. And as you can see, I'm just sketching it. Okay, I'm not being perfect. I'm not going and I've snapped the lead with the pencil. Okay, that's why these are really good. It stops you from going too heavy with your pencils. If you're one that draws as if you're digging through the paper, well worth getting hold of one of these. Okay, so I've got my iris, got my pupil, and I've got my cornea. Now, what I'm going to do is put these shapes together. Now, try and use a mirror if you can. It will help you in order to get the pieces in the right places. But what you'll actually notice is you won't go around the entire shape. You'll go into it, etc. But what you'll notice is your eye almost does this. Kind of goes on a little walk up a hill, goes along straight, and then comes back down slightly. Okay, you'll find it curves round and comes back in and curves in the corner where the cornea is. And there we have the shape of the outside of the eye. You'll find the cornea is kind of this shape, and you'll just be able to see the edge of the white. Above this, you sort of follow the same shape. You've got your eyelid. So again, you're going up a walk on a hill, flatten out and down. And you will find you've actually got a little bit of a crease on the under eye as well. Okay, and there we have it, the shape of the eye. Now the iris inside, again, it doesn't have to fill the entire width of the eye. I'm going to make it slightly smaller because actually you will find your iris goes underneath the eyelid. The eyelid will cover part of your iris. Okay, so you will find it will not be a perfect circle. It will go underneath slightly. And then on the inside we have the pupil. There we have it, the shape of the eye. Okay, now I'm going to quickly show you the nose, because in the next video I'm going to show you how to work onto these and shade them. So I'm going to now draw the nose in place. Okay, so I'm going to move this up a bit and back to my trusty mechanical pencil. So we know we have our rectangle, and again the rectangle, depending on how thin or how wide you make it, is how wide the nose is going to be. We've got this upside down triangle, if anybody's worked out what that is going to do. At the bottom we've got this circle, and then we've got the two smaller circles either side of it. Okay, now this is where this one can be a little tricky, so I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. Okay, so bit of banging out there. Right, what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to work on the underneath of the nose to get the nostrils in place. And you see where these bits here curve up? These are going to be the nostril spaces. I'm going to shade them in just so you can see them. okay? There we go. And what I'm now going to do, you'll have a little bit of a... Now I'm not going to go right to the edge of this. I'm going to go in through that little circle to make the nostril a little bit smaller. Because remember, these are just a guide. It's a skeleton. It's telling you basically the rough shapes, but it's up to you and your observational skills now to work out which size, which shape. Is the edge of the nostril very curved? Is it more angular? Is it flatter? Okay. And we're going to curve it just up onto the bridge there. What I'm going to do as well, get a little bit of a line here so you can see that edge, and you'll actually notice when you go down to the mouth, this is where this bit comes in, which I don't actually know what that's called. I'll need to do a bit of Googling on that. Now, what I'm going to do to show you something, this rectangle that I've just put in place there, I'm actually going to rub it away. And the reason I'm rubbing it away is because a lot of you do this when you're drawing a nose. You can't actually see this bridge bit of the nose. It's not two lines, it's actually shaded. Okay, so I don't want to see lines up this bit. Okay, I'm now going to go to this part of the nose. And if you've worked it out, this is in fact the crook next to where your eye is, and this will lead into your eyebrows, and we'll end up with eyebrows with it. Spot on. Right, so that is how you draw a nose. The mouth, I'm going to show you how to do this one. Mouth is a little bit more tricky. Oh, with a pencil. We've got our oval split into two, and we have our triangles. Now, this bit is a little bit more difficult. Okay, is this going all fuzzy? Hope it's not. There we go. What I'm going to do is use the triangles for what is called the Cupid's bow, and it's more pronounced on women than it is on men, it tends to be, okay? And women will know this when you're putting on your lipstick. Okay, this is why lip liner is there as well. It is to emphasise the shape of the Cupid's bow. What I'm going to do is get that shape. You'll find the top lip tends to curve. Okay, it kind of goes in where these Cupid bow bits are here. It points upwards, and a lot of people will have or tend to have a bigger bottom lip than a top lip. Okay. Now, what you've got to remember as well is your features are not symmetrical. Nobody's features are entirely symmetrical. I know this, okay? When I smile, one side of my mouth is wider and bigger than the other side, okay? Nobody's features are symmetrical. So if you've got something looking very symmetrical, you'll actually find that's why it's looking a bit odd, okay? Now, I'm going to stop there. What I'm going to ask you to do now is, your task today is to draw those basic shapes, work around them, and get the features in place. Okay? If you want a bit more of a challenge, what I'm going to do in the next video is show you how to actually shade and make these look a bit more realistic. So, next video if you want to. If not, your task today should look like this by the end of your lesson.